That was KCCI, wasn't it? She's the same woman that did the segment on me when I was on there. She did for the state fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that?
We're trying to get rid of them so we can shut that thing off.
I thought maybe I might wait until they start getting close to date, so there might be a discount or something.
There already is.
If we shut it off, they would be ready to get rid of, wouldn't they?
I'm always shopping for hard.
That's only spending 50 cents, but it costs $91 in electricity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. The only thing good here for you is that I'm not sure that it works. Oh, I know I can take it off the back.
Yeah, I can make a cross paths. Velcro.
Just get a calculated off.
At 6 o'clock, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have Val absent tonight. Take a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Steve and a second by Dan to approve the agenda. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment? Anyone wishing to make a public comment? Okay. We have claims submitted by staff tonight in the amount of $105,064.98. Any motion to approve claims?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Craig and a second by Steve to approve claims as submitted by staff in the amount of $105,064.98. All in favor? Is there any discussion on the claims? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is introduction with consideration of approval and adoption of resolution 2013-19. It's a resolution accepting and approving the city street finance report for fiscal year 2012 and 13. For reading that, say
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2013-19 is a resolution accepting and approving the city street finance report for fiscal year 2012-2013. Whereas the City of Hampton, Iowa has prepared a city street finance report detailing revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year July 1st, 2012 to June 30th, 2013. Whereas it has been reviewed by City Council, now therefore be resolved by the City of Hampton, Iowa, that the proposed city street finance report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2013 is hereby approved and adopted. And the city clerk is hereby authorized and directed to file the adopted report with the Office of Local Systems, the Iowa Department of Transportation. In the following pages is the actual report. This is an annual report. It's due to the state by September 30th each year. Basically, they monitor, this goes to the Iowa Department of Transportation, they monitor road use tax fund dollars for each entity that receives them. They monitor street-related debts, principals that are left on debt, any TIP financing of projects, other bonds and notes, special assessments. There's a sheet in there on project final costs. We're showing now the Highway 65 project on the project cost sheet that basically you wait until the project is fully completed and the last payment is made, and we just did that at the end of fiscal year 13, so we're showing that as a completed project. There's an equipment inventory sheet, explanation sheet, and the last page is the road use tax payments that come from the state. The report is complete, it's ready to be submitted, and it's in front of you for your consideration. Are there any questions?
No questions, I ask for a motion.
Move to approve, Mayor.
Second?
Second.
A motion by Craig and a second by Vic to approve and adopt resolution 2013-19. Any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Eckhart?
Aye.
Crowley?
Aye.
Davies?
Aye.
Lukensmeyer?
Aye.
Michael Jackson? Martin?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is ordinance number 345, introduction and first reading, and ordinance changing school crossing zones in the city of Hampton. For reading, city manager Dunn.
Thank you, Mayor. I was approached by the police chief a couple weeks ago, and he requested that we consider adding the school crossing at the intersection of 12th Avenue and 4th Street, Highway 65. Street crossings need to be in our code of ordinance. They need to be specifically spelled out. This one had not been, and so that's the purpose of this. Ordinance number 345, an ordinance changing school crossing zones in the city of Hampton, be enacted by the City Council of the City of Hampton, Iowa. Section 1, the purpose. The purpose of this ordinance is to change the school crossing zones in the city of Hampton in that locations of schools have changed. Section 2, amendment to Chapter 65 of the Code of Ordinances 2009 in the City of Hampton. Chapter 65 of the Code of Ordinances 2009 in the City of Hampton, Iowa is hereby amended such that Section 65.05 shall read, at the following school crossings, every driver of a vehicle approaching said zone shall bring the vehicle to a full stop at a point 10 feet from the approach side of the crosswalk marked by an authorized school stop sign, and therefore proceed in a careful and prudent manner until the vehicle shall have passed through such school crossing zone. Number 1, intersection of 4th Street Southeast, Highway 65 and 4th Avenue. Number 2, intersection of 12th Avenue Northeast and 4th Street Northeast, Highway 65. Number 3, intersection of 12th Avenue Northeast and 3rd Street. Number 4, intersection of 4th Avenue Southeast and 5th Street. So what we've done, we've added the 12th Avenue Northeast, number 2, 12th Avenue Northeast and 4th Street Northeast. We've eliminated one that was on the books that was at the corner of 5th Street Northeast and Central Avenue East that the old middle school used to use. Any questions? Any questions for Chief?
12th Avenue Northeast and 3rd Street.
That's by the daycare center leading to the north side.
Well, that's an official, that's right, that's been there for some time.
Yes.
Do you see any reason, I'm just looking ahead here, is there any other questions? Do you see any reason why, any public objection to our vote should, that we should be intending to vote? Is there any benefit to postponing this for 6 weeks? This final decision?
I don't know, I guess maybe the chief could, you wanna talk about the urgency of this, Bob? If this is something that they should consider waiving the second and third readings and approving in one reading to get this going, or is it not that urgent?
Any benefit or detriment either way?
Well, it's been for quite some time that it has been not on the books, and it was actually brought to our attention by one of the crossing guards, that it wasn't there, and that was the reason why we put it on there. The thing is, without that being there, if somebody does fail to obey that, then we don't have anything to actually, write a ticket for. So that would be, that would be the biggest, the biggest reason to waive the other two, would be so that if that does happen before that point in time, that we can at least write a ticket for it. So.
Okay.
Anybody else?
You do have the option of waiving the second and third readings on any ordinance. Of course, typically you would really want to consider that on something that would have some, you want to seek public input and might be controversial, but it's up to you.
I make a motion that we vote to waive the second and third readings, make this the final reading of this particular ordinance.
I'll second that.
So a motion by Dick and a second by Steve to waive the second, waive the first and second readings, and that would be the third reading. Any discussion on that? Okay, then we'll have roll call vote then on that motion. Lukensmeyer?
Aye.
Hogback, Davies?
Aye.
Harms?
Aye.
Eckhart?
Aye.
Crowley?
Aye.
Okay. Now I'll need a motion on the ordinance itself.
To adopt the final reading.
I would so move to adopt.
Motion by Jim, is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Jim and a second by Dan to approve and adopt ordinance number 345. Any discussion? Okay, we'll have a vote. Crowley?
Aye.
Arms?
Aye.
Lukensmeyer?
Aye.
Eckhart?
Aye.
Hogback is absent. Davies?
Aye.
Motion carries. Ordinance adopted.
And that'll become effective upon publication. Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Bob.
Chief. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda tonight. That includes approving minutes of previous minutes as drafted from the Thursday, September 12th, 2013 regular session. Scheduling the next regular session for Thursday, October 10th, 2013 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Approval of alcohol licensing renewal for the Liquor Barn at 721 Central Avenue West and Colonel Local Pharmacies at 104 First Street Northwest, both in Hampton, Iowa. Entertain a motion.
So move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Dan and a second by Dick to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Staff reports, Fire Chief Wilkinson is absent. Police Chief Schaefer.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, City Manager. Don't have a whole lot, as you know, been very busy last week, searching for our missing Ethan Kazmerzak. If you've been following the news at all, you kind of know the steps that we've taken to try to get to that end.
I've had some questions, well, why is the Hampton Police Department the one that is doing all this when, you know, he was last seen out in the county? Well, he's a resident of Hampton. That's the biggest reason, is because we're the agency that has the missing person. Following up on different leads, things like that. As far as search, there are some farm places that on Friday that were searched, roads that were searched, and there's different abandoned farm places that were put on a map, list of places that the people need to be contacted. Sheriff's Office has been real good in assisting with this, and I think that they're gonna go ahead and contact those places. Either they'll do a search, or they will have the people that own the property, you know, just look at those, you know, particular places to make sure that he might not be there. Other than that, we're following up on some leads, but as time goes on, of course, there isn't a whole lot more that we're gonna be able to do other than, unfortunately, wait. That's kind of where we're at this time. Does anybody have any questions about this?
Bob, I was just wondering, I know you're trying to figure out the timeline, but do you know when the last time that somebody saw him on like Saturday night or that Sunday morning?
That's where that, if you've heard other news, that 12:15 basically comes into play, because that is, from what we can understand, that's the last time that somebody physically saw him.
Okay.
Yes. On another note, right on the heels of that, we've got homecoming. Last night they were out in full force. Fireworks going off, different things like this. I was out, was less than a block away, and trying to figure out who it is that's actually throwing them out there, without basically charging the whole works. I had a talk with him. I thought maybe I'd gotten through, and had. We did have somebody that pulled up a stop sign at the intersection of Federal and 12th Avenue. Actually had somebody call in and tell us who it was that had done that, and there was a young man charged last night with that. Other than that, I'm hoping that, you know, it kind of slows down now that they've, you know, done it, but I'm sure that there's gonna be some more nights to go, so. Any questions about that? Okay.
Doug is absent, on orderly today, if you'd like to. So you're done.
I just want to give you an update on the Make a Splash totals. The amount pledged for the Make a Splash campaign was $428,000. The amount received to date that we have actually received is $400,006. So almost $30,000 left to collect. So doing pretty good. Congratulations to new chamber director, Newton. I see he's in the audience, so welcome, Newton, and let me know if you need anything. That's all I have, unless anybody has any questions. This street finance report gets filed online tomorrow, so. Thank you, Mayor.
That was not this sheet. Davies?
I have a couple things. On Friday, I attended a workshop in Cedar Rapids for Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966. And that requires federal agencies to take into account effects of undertaking any projects on historic properties and archaeological types of areas. And that's sort of through my association with the Hampton Historic Preservation Commission. And so if there's any projects where, like, the city, for example, would receive federal funding or require like a federal license, or it would take place on federal land, that study has to be done. In fact, I think one of those studies was done at our wastewater treatment plant, that project on that land. So, not that I'm an expert, but it gives you enough information that you can know where to go to ask questions. And that's, I think, the goal of the workshop. Also, I'd just like to request the public to keep looking for Ethan Kazmuzak. He rents an apartment at the Windsor, works for me at the Windsor, and was in the last play with me, so we're good friends, and it's just really puzzling what's happening. So, but keep positive and keep looking, that would be great. And then welcome Newton. Thank you, that's all I have.
Diane?
I do not have anything to say.
Great.
Thank you, Mayor. Kind of touching base and back up some of the things the chief said about the homecoming, there's gonna be a lot of kids out running around there trying to have fun. Some people, I've gotten calls already about complaints about the toilet paper, but we go through this every year. I think that our position has been that, police department has a handle on it. We allow them to handle it as they see fit. And as long as there's no vandalism to signs or downtown fixtures or anything like they have in the past, they've been pretty lenient. But just to remind the kids, be careful, but have fun.
Steve?
Expands on that a little bit. You know, when I worked in Webster City for a time, a number of years ago, and Halloween, there was a group of kids that were going out, throwing out toilet paper and messing around. And for whatever reason, at that time, the police department was under orders to chase these people down and arrest them. It was a pretty bad accident. Several people wound up in the hospital. I mean, if they're, all they're gonna do is throw toilet paper, I'm okay with that. That's all I have.
A couple of things, I did have somebody call me, Bob, I was gonna talk to Doug about this too, but I'm not sure there's anything we can do about our stoplight in the downtown area there. It's at 35-second intervals right now, is that where it's at? The complaint was they go through at 6 every morning, they always get stopped. Well, I explained to him that our problem is antiquated equipment, it's hard to, sometimes hard to maintain, and it's very expensive to fix or replace. That was his question.
From what I understand, it's on an interval, so it's gonna have stop on Highway 3 and then cycle to stop on First Street. And what that interval is, I'm not sure, but.
A couple of months ago, we had the same question, and I think Doug said it was 45 seconds.
Okay.
Council a few years ago had it increased, I think, from 40 to 45, 30 to 45, whatever it was. But it had been increased to 45.
It's equal in minutes.
It's, yeah, that's what my understanding is. So, I mean, that can be changed, it's just, it was just, the discussion at the time was that council had made the direction to increase it, and at that time when we talked about it, there was no interest in doing anything different, so. The equipment doesn't stop us from doing it.
Well, he understood and I shared the costs that we would incur to supported the four-way stop sign forever, but we've been there too. As far as homecoming, Friday, there's gonna be some community service by the high school and platoons of kids out there cleaning up parks, cleaning up toilet paper. They're actually, one of these platoons of kids, they're gonna help the tree board, do fencing, the new trees that are on Highway 65, or Highway 12th Avenue, excuse me.
Highway 12th Avenue.
Yeah, Highway 12th Avenue. There's no school crosswalk there.
Be careful.
So there'll be a lot of kids out from 9 to 11 on Friday morning to clean up the normal debris, plus the debris from the homecoming. And not at liberty to say which house, but I was going to tell Doug this, if he had been here, we're about to have a change of ownership in one of our dilapidated houses. It's very close, so we'll be getting one more of those off the books without being in a problem. Or more of a problem. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I add one more thing there?
Yep.
On the TP last night, whatever, I do have to mention, I was very impressed with a group of kids that were actually going behind the other group of kids that were doing this. And if they were saran wrapping anything, they were taking the saran wrap down and taking the wood down. So I had off to those kids that were doing that and making sure that things were safe out there.
In my report, I just want to thank the chief and all the assisting agencies that have helped in the search for Ethan up to this point. I think the chief and the agencies agencies, Franklin County Emergency Management did an exceptional job in being open to the public and readily available to the press. There's been a lot of news stories about it and a lot of awareness raised. I'll be doing some traveling around the state this week, so I'll be taking some flyers with me. We'll be at League of Cities, and so hopefully we can network with some other cities there and spread the word a little bit more. I know there's been a website created and different things, so I know Chief has mentioned on more than one occasion, kind of getting to the end of the road of what our department can do, but the effort's certainly there. Certainly thoughts and prayers continue to be with the family, and hopefully a positive resolution answers are found soon. So, and again, as I mentioned, we'll be at League of Cities this week, and look forward to education that comes forth there. So, if there's nothing else, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Excellent.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
6:23, we are adjourned.